Yep, it's that time of the year, and I'm jumping on the bandwagon and reviewing an episode for season's sake. So be ready as I review the episode, which I misworded in another review, Hearthwarming Eve. When I reviewed the Mysterious Mirror Duel, I used Hearthwarming Eve as one of the examples of how Meriwether Williams had missed opportunities in her episodes. I'm not the only one who thought of what wasted potential there was, though, but their other views are on a different page. But just because there were missed opportunities, that doesn't mean the episode was bad. The debate of whatever missed opportunities there were is purely subjective, and not everyone will view it the same way. If anything, the writer may not have thought of it the same way I did or anyone else. With that being said, the episode was mostly criticized for that reason, which I'll save for the later half. So, by difference, what was I originally expecting? A Celestia and Luna backstory where they share a piece of history during the foundation of Equestria, something a little further behind their chemistry. Ever since the pilot episodes, I wanted an episode about these two, which is largely because I admired the story of their separate ways. And frankly, the only episodes that came close were Luna Eclipse and Princess Twilight Sparkle. But not only did Hearthwarming Eve not live up to what I was personally expecting, but Celestia and Luna were nowhere to be seen. What we do get, however, is a pretty decent episode. What follows here is that the main six are headed to Canterlot to put on a stage act that tells the historical background of Equestria. In their act, a territorial dispute is held within 3 pony races that take place before the presence of Celestia and Luna. Each work together under their conditions. The Earth ponies grow the food for each tribe, and in return, the unicorns raise the sun and the moon, and the Pegasi take control of the weather. Unfortunately and unknowingly, a blizzard is spread throughout the land, and because of their disgust towards each other, each leader and their companion individually embark in search for new territory. The main six plays as each of the leader tribes, and their companions. Rarity is Princess Platinum, and Twilight Sparkle is her assistant Clover the Clever. Rainbow Dash is Commander Hurricane, and her assistant is Private Pansy, played by Fluttershy. And Pinkie Pie is Chancellor Puddingham, and her assistant is played by Applejack as Smart Cookie. The episode on the surface is a parallel to Christmas. This was an ongoing phenomenon in Season 2, with episodes like Nightmare Night was to Halloween, and What Hearts and Tuesday was to Valentine's Day. Personally, I love that idea. It utilizes the holidays to match with the history of the show instead of pursuing the actual holiday with no proper consistency of the show's lore. It's one of those occasions that adds and makes world building more interesting and allowing fan creators to interpret what they see the show as. It's not the kind of element I'm a fan of, but it works. However, there's been complaints on the episode that doesn't follow the actual Christmas holiday, and that's where the other wasted potential is talked about. And here's where I correct on that. Christmas is a sense of joy and happiness. Sure, presents and decorative trees and Santa Claus are what gives a sense of excitement and what one does for another in favors to spread joy. But in the end, they are marketing tropes to this very day and age. In Hearthwarming Eve, happiness is spread through the share of Equestria's history and how far every pony has gone, for once gone separate ways, to living together in harmony, and being happy with each other and their differences. In short, the spirit of Christmas is there, but in a convenient setting for it to sink in. If the episode's holiday was the actual Christmas holiday, there would have been countless amount of questions based on religious connections. It would contradict what the show has and what the holiday has. As if it wasn't bad enough, there was another episode that rose aspects indirectly. Not only that, it wouldn't have stood out as well and would try too hard to be a Christmas special like every other show has in the past. That's not to say the other cartoon specials are bad. It's just nice to see a refreshing take on the holiday aspect, especially when the show has broken various standards before, from the demographic to the characters developing away from stereotypes. Not only do I think it's a clever way to break away from the Christmas formula, but it also gives the writer the advantage of telling a story with important morals of what the episode gives. By showing this, we come to the final act. After finding a new and refreshing land, each of the leaders run into each other again. After arguing over their territory, another blizzard strikes. They venture into a cave where they are all together, but because of their usual bias, things get worse for their leaders as they continuously argue with each other until they are frozen by the blizzard that leaks in. The 3 companions are all what's left. Clover soon discovers that there are Wendigos in the blizzard mist, once explained by Starswirl the Bearded that they feed on hatred.
This is our fault. We 3 tribes. We brought this blizzard to our home by fighting and not trusting each other. Now it's destroying this land too.
This explains the ongoing blizzards throughout the episode, since the leader's bias is what brought their fate here. Fortunately, the companions get along very well since they all share a very common issue with the leader. and with them all together before freezing over, Clover's magic evaporates, the Wendigos. With a fiery heart summoned, their leaders are thought out and are all well together in friendship. The act ends with their declaration and claim of Equestria and their carol Hearth.
The fire of friendship lives in our hearts. As long as it burns, we cannot drift apart. The quarrels arise, their numbers are few. Laughter and singing will see us through. Will see us through. We are a circle of holy friends. A circle of friends will be to the very end.
What the act and episode displays is a theme of how each tribe should get along with each other and respect each other's differences by seeing the outside of their perspectives to others. Of course, though, friendship is an apparent topic that's carried throughout the show, but it's presented here in a more historical fashion of how friendship is impacting the leadership. Their leaders are hard-headed and closed-minded from what their own bias and hatred is, and their companions, while abused, are the ones that are able to get a closer understanding. This is a pretty powerful moral to address, based on the current events and bias and prejudice behavior that happens today. I know it's not going to be the end-all be-all, but it's important to remember the different views instead of judging your own line of thinking. The other grabs I've been hearing about were how confusing the stage presentation was and whether or not they were in the flashback or the play. Personally, I think it was a stage act the whole time, and the flashback elements were used to enhance the audience's view of the performance, since back in older times, stage performances were more believable. This is also why I didn't have as much confusion with the ending flag that had Celestia and Luna on it. I thought it was just a set piece the whole time. What is the real flag though, I'm not really sure. Undeniably, there's a lot of confusing elements to the lore, but I don't think it's too harmful to the show. As I stated before, it's open to those who like making headcanons or fanfics based on their view of the show. Also, am I the only one who liked the Heart Carol song at the end? Seriously, it was so cheerful and uplifting that I couldn't help but shed a tear. Concluding the episode, I thought it was pretty good as it stands today. It has a nice moral as I addressed before, it took some risks that wouldn't have been allowed on TV if it were an earlier decade, and it satisfies those who are historical fans. Almost. It's not perfect or solid, but it's a nice episode to watch from time to time. Would I recommend this to newcomers? No, but I would still recommend it to those who are into the show long enough to watch it. So until next time, this is GoldenFox, and happy holidays.